Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is happy and healthy and doing well today. So today I want to touch back on Bitcoin's price movement to see where we're at in comparison to the last video. So using the fib retracement tool, which is what we've been using in the past, it's good to keep in mind that the fractal patterns aren't exact but approximate price targets, and these patterns don't repeat so much as they do rhyme, which is something that you've heard me say in the past and I'll probably continue to say in the future. Okay, so as initially anticipated, Bitcoin did hit the 1.4 resistance here. And like we were following in the previous video, this is the same 1.4 level of the fib line that we were expecting it to do because it's what it did back in 2017. As I had mentioned before, because we were kind of going off the fact that it was going to rhyme or sort of recreate the situation, that this level, this 1.2 down here, would have been a pretty good buy level. Also, you may have noticed that the candles down here that I'm using for volume are all gray. I have them all the same color. I think that's important to mention because we aren't really looking for up and down volume so much as like the volume shows the price support and movements indicating buying pressure. So like if we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see, let me delete this, hold on. You can see here at this 1.2 line that there is a spike in volume. This is indicating a volume-supported move to the upside. So congrats to those who may have made that trade at 1.2 to that 1.4 area. All right, so coming up next, you can see that the price of Bitcoin rejected off this 40K region, but the price generally looks pretty strong here. So what you're looking for is if the price is going to make a lower high on a higher time frame, which is usually a bearish signal for traders. Let me draw this out real quick. So what I'm trying to say here is if this was, now that I have this little rectangle here, if this was going to be a bearish signal, it probably would have bounced closer to here. And let's go to the 1 day. It would have been closer to being, it would have been higher up on this is what I'm saying. All right, so now that we're back on the weekly fractal, don't get too excited. There's no guarantee here, but it can be expected that Bitcoin, might snake up past its previous all-time high before another heavy rejection over the next few weeks. If the price instead were to consolidate between the upper levels of resistance and the lower levels of support, it might be better to hold on to any trade that you have before seeing a large upside move. Patience is always key. If you'd like to support the channel and see it grow, feel free to use the link in the video description down below. It's an affiliate link for a trading website. If you choose to use it, please be aware that leverage trading is incredibly profitable, but it is also incredibly dangerous, and I would not recommend it for any beginner traders or those who are not comfortable and familiar with these kinds of markets. I have mentioned this before, and I will say it again, but never trade or invest an amount that you are uncomfortable with losing. And if you are okay with that, or you feel comfortable, you wish to support the channel then, as I said before, the link is in the description. It costs you guys nothing, but a few clicks means that we can keep making these videos. All right, now, onto the news. Let's take a look at this first article. Tether and the January 15th deadline. The deadline for Tether to submit the documents requested by the New York Prosecutor's Office expires on January 15th, 2021. There is a concern within the crypto world about this deadline, although it is probably an exaggerated fear. In fact, the main worry is that the evidence will come to light that Tether created large amounts of USDT out of thin air. The New York Authority General is accusing Tether of violating regulations relating to, for example, providing unauthorized services to U.S. customers or harming investors. Well, the 15th has now come and gone, and there has been no massive price rejection from Bitcoin over the Tether news. Is this surprising? No, not really. Tether is only submitting these documents to the New York Prosecutor's Office for the 15th. There was really no ruling to be made. That was just the deadline. For those maybe not so aware of the situation, the accusation by the New York Attorney General is that Tether has been printing mass amounts of USDT out of thin air, which the article kind of touches on. And in the process, which the article doesn't say, propping up the price of Bitcoin and manipulating the market. What's important to note is whether Tether is manipulating the market, which it very well may be, is no longer considered a valid concern since the academic report stating this is no longer considered a reliable source of information. The scary part about all of this is if USDT is the leading stablecoin in the world by a large margin and under indictment for other problems, including the aforementioned ones that I just mentioned in the article, the situation right now comes down to sort of like a wait and see scenario. But I would urge caution around its use for anyone out there who's holding or trading Tether. More specifically, until there's actually a definitive judgment made on the project of the token. There's a lot on the line here and a lot the Tether stands to lose by breaking the rules. Also, the idea that it won't be so great for crypto in general. The thing to look out now for is if the documents have been submitted, if there's any rulings by the court, a future legal battle which may develop or further the indictments against Tether for shady practices. For now, Bitcoin continues to perform rather well, and until anything definitive one way or another comes to light, I urge caution as always. When it comes to how this may affect the price of Bitcoin in the short term, if Tether is found guilty, we may initially see a price drop, but nothing can be said for certain right now, obviously. It becomes important to separate Bitcoin's price from Bitcoin's value in this case. Should Tether fail, it's very likely that some other form of stablecoin will come take its place over time, providing much needed liquidity to the market and hopefully learn from Tether's mistakes. It also appears that we may be approaching an incredibly bullish scenario for the second largest cryptocurrency in the market. As seen in this article, exchanges are running out of ETH as the old faithful formula of supply and demand takes effect. Exchanges running out of ETH with reserves plunging 27% in 48 hours. Analysts predict Ether may soon hit a new all-time high after ETH reserves on centralized exchanges fell by 27% in 2 days. The amount of Ether held on exchanges has plunged over the last 2 days, with CryptoQuant data indicating that just 8.1 million ETH is currently sitting in the reserves of centralized exchanges. The acceleration of ETH being taken off exchanges was highlighted by Nuggets News' Alex Saunders, who noted a 10% drop in Ether reserves on centralized platforms on January 14th, from 11 million to 10 million over 24 hours. Exchanges will run out of ETH in 10 days at this current rate, he predicted. Exchanges could be out of ETH within 48 hours. Demand has skyrocketed. Exchange reserves fell from 20% to 10 million to 8 million in the last few hours, with targets at 5K, 10K, 20K long term. I doubt many hodlers will sell their ETH in the 1 to 2K range. Now add that on top of the amount of Ethereum locked away for staking during the phase 0 stage of ETH 2.0, and you've also got the fact that ETH has had far more developments than Bitcoin and provides a much wider range of utility than Bitcoin, dominating the smart contract space, all very good things. With that being said, the world beginning to wake up to crypto and its potential is always a good thing. Looking at the way Bitcoin has advanced and developed, you can kind of read the BTC charts like they're the future charts for ETH, except ETH has the advantage of piggybacking off the success of Bitcoin for now. It's fairly likely that the future movements of ETH, assuming it remains the primary development platform for dApps, are going to be nothing and then suddenly everything all at once as the price of ETH tries to match parity with its value. All right, guys, that about wraps it up for me today. Thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see everybody soon.